Hello guys, and of course all the most important events of this week are about the Ukrainian armed forces moving deeper inside the Russian Federation, Kursk region. The advancement continues with more and more settlements and kilometers under our control. But this is also an extremely important moment in the history of this war, as it revealed how vulnerable, how weak Russia is. You know this joke, actually it was not a joke, but the Putin's message that Russia does not have borders. Now we literally see that. Putin does not control the borders and the Russian population does not know what to do. The propagandists don't have ideas how to mobilize both the army, FSB, and most importantly, population. That's why, honestly, we joke in Ukraine that if we continue, we can actually reach Kremlin in some weeks. I don't think we have such a plan, but definitely it is vital to return war back home where it belongs. And now it is officially the war between Russia and Ukraine, not just Russians killing Ukrainian on the Ukrainian side. By the way, today is the 900th day of this war, and after so many days of destructions, shellings and murders in Ukraine, we have demonstrated the world Russia can and will be defeated. This was also a week of the successful destruction of Lipetsk military airbase with lots of guided bombs there. We have downed a number of military helicopters on the Russian side with inexpensive Ukrainian drones. And today, guys, we have destroyed another convoy that tried to back up Russian troops back in Kursk region. They were escaping from Kharkiv back to Mother Russia where they belong, but Russia does not learn on its mistakes. And yes, they were traveling in convoy. That's why lots of good Russians and minus a certain number, I'm not sure at the moment how many, but T-80 tanks. And today we also celebrate the end of Olympics, 22nd place for Ukraine, 12 medals, not bad for a country at war. So let me tell you more, including the events in Belarus, where Lukashenko claims he was shooting down Ukrainian drones, but he didn't. And what else? The Black Sea operation, the destruction of a patrol boat of the tuna type, and many good things happening. So my name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and I'm proud to be Ukrainian and to see how the Ukrainian armed forces liberate Russian regions. If you want to see more of that and finally witness the Kremlin defeated, subscribe and help us spread more information about this super important event. And if I had to sum up my most important conclusion of this week, it would definitely be how weak, how cowardice, how unprepared Russia is. Everyone in Russia, starting with Putin, Gerasimov, Shoigu, Belarus, and all the people responsible for the invasion, and finishing with the Russian population. Let's look at each of these groups, toxic groups of Russians responsible for this war. Putin and co. I'm sure they heard some rumors about similar operation coming. There are some intelligence services who claim they've reported about that, but they decided not to react, or I don't know what, or they thought that we are too frightened of them. But look at us. In just a couple of days, we have taken more of the Russian territory than Russia managed in months in Ukraine, but also without that awful losses that Russia traditionally spends a month in Ukraine. So this is amazing, and the operation continues. And I love this special military operation. Now Putin does not know how to react, but I'm sure many of you saw this beautiful memes of his face that demonstrates a huge difference between his non-verbal behavior at the very start of invasion And right now, when he hides his eyes, he doesn't know what to say. Officially, some Kremlin deputies say that they were forbidden to comment what is happening, and this is another huge mistake of Russia that they have inherited back from the Soviet times, hiding the truth. It's impossible to hide the truth, especially in the times of internet, even if they down YouTube in Russia. People share everything online, and you can see huge queues of cars escaping from the Kursk region. People totally dissatisfied that their government, local and state, does not provide any instructions. So literally they are left for themselves, but they are super depoliticized and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to react, and they start crying and shouting, "Putin, please come and save us." And Putin pretends nothing is happening. This is Russia, guys. This is awful. I remember something similar from my parents' stories about the Soviet times when, for example, the Chernobyl catastrophe happened and the officials tried to pretend nothing wrong is going on. This is the greatest sin, actually, not the Chernobyl catastrophe, but the way they treated it. And right now they repeat this mistake. They pretend nothing is happening when settlement by settlement, the Ukrainian armed forces are moving deeper to Russia and sharing jokes like 2 more regions left before Moscow. Share to see that beautiful day and subscribe to join the channel and our beautiful community of people who stand for democracy, freedom, and the defeated Putin. That's important too. So anyway, propagandists do not know what to say, and they start discussing how to mobilize, how to activate local people when local people are running away. And one of the main reasons why Russians accepted these fake elections of Putin and other stuff, they sacredly believed in stability. Actually, stability is something that Russian propaganda loves using. They don't like change, they don't like diversity, so they persuade people that even if there are things you don't like, we give you stability. But not anymore, not anymore. And I'm sure this is a very decisive moment in the course of this war, because finally Russians understand what war is, and with war on just the Ukrainian side, they were ready to continue it for decades. But now we can negotiate, I don't know, some territories of Kursk region for 1991 borders of Ukraine. Now we are not that far away from Kursk nuclear power plant. I don't think it's a plan to take it, but who knows, we can exchange it for Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Also, another convoy today was destroyed, the second one. The previous one was full of trucks and soldiers, and this one was full of tanks and also soldiers, and it was neutralized because, once again, Russian TV, Russian propagandists and Russian people were sharing like crazy the movements of their military convoys, which we never do in Ukraine. Trust me, I had lots of options to do that, but I would never do that. But let them continue. Let's not stop them. And also, this was a week of a very serious attack and destructions on the Lipetsk military airbase, the one located approximately 350 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border, and the one that they often use to target Kharkiv and other frontline regions, but won't have this opportunity anymore. Most importantly, we've destroyed, and the detonation lasted for hours, a huge warehouse of their guided bombs. Guided bombs are evil. They love using it, especially against civilian Ukrainians, but we destroy them, and that's why it's so important for the Ukrainians to strike back and to neutralize Russian storages of bombs. That's the best way to save Ukrainian lives. Another important thing happened in Crimea, where we destroyed a patrol boat. Many of them were destroyed, but also a good operation was conducted by the Ukrainian HUR, our intelligence service, when they neutralized an offshore gas platform that was used by Russian invaders for GPS spoofing. But not anymore. And I'm actually proud at how many things are now happening on the Russian side with Lipetsk, with Krasnodar, with Kursk, with Belgorod, experiencing what war is. And once again, all because they've decided to cross the Ukrainian border, and all we do is just return them back home. Subscribe to see more of Russian soldiers running back to Mother Russia, where they actually have much more work to do, starting in the Kremlin. FSB agents, these backups, they do not manage to fulfill everything that Putin wants from them. And actually, guys, we see that many of the Russian soldiers retreat on the Russian territory. Many are taken as prisoners of war, and I totally agree with President Zelensky that this is super good, because we will have whom to exchange for our heroes. And it is also bad for the Russian morale. And actually, according to some posts on Ukrainian Twitter, some Russian soldiers give up the positions of their military because of bad treatment, and especially the positions of the Chechen army, you know, this TikTok fake army, because they treat Russian soldiers really bad. Sometimes they even shoot the wounded or rape Russian soldiers, and that's why they are happy to share the positions of these Chechen soldiers that were meant to actually control Kursk region. I've mentioned already a number of Russian 2 or 3 Russian helicopters downed by the Ukrainian drones, a new technology which I'm sure we will use more and more often. Russia traditionally sends lots of missiles and lots of Shahed drones on the Ukrainian side, and some of them may cross to Belarus. That's why Lukashenko started saying that he downed some drones that flew from the Ukrainian side. Well, first of all, those rare drones that get to Belarus are actually Russian drones who lose that tracker. But these days there were no, according to the official report from the observers on the Belarus side. And personally, I, living close to Belarus, am not afraid. I'm actually waiting for the moment when Belarus is liberated and we have a safe zone between Ukraine, Poland, and the Baltic countries. And also we have many happy people in Belarus. I have more hopes, by the way. They are less zombified and less filled with hatred, and of course they do not share Russian imperialistic attitudes. But this is a long process, but hopefully it has already started, because my God, Russia is weak and we are demonstrating it. The task of the special military operation of the Ukrainian armed forces to Kursk region is actually to demonstrate how vulnerable Russia is, to get some of that territory for the exchange of the 1991 Ukrainian borders, to set chaos inside the mother Russia, and also doubts among the population. And I'm sure they are full of doubts and full of fear. And in comparison to Ukrainians, they are totally incapable of self-organization. And this is what actually saved us during the very first weeks of the invasion. The way we organized ourselves, even when the ministry, the army was not like busy doing other stuff. But Russians are not about that. They are a population, not a civil society. And back to the good news, the Olympic Games finished. I cannot tell you that I'm a huge fan of the modern Olympics, and you know why? Recently I've read, it's not about Ukraine even, that they have disqualified a woman, a participant of the refugee team, for wearing a t-shirt, Save Afghan Women, because it was a political slogan. Guys, but we do need to save Afghan women. They are in great trouble. And why on earth we need any of the public events if we cannot speak for people who need our protection? This is insane. But in this Olympic Games, we are on the 22nd place among the other countries, which is not bad, taking into account that many, if not the majority of our athletes are in the Ukrainian armed forces. Many do not have an opportunity to train well because lots of their playgrounds are destroyed, electricity outages, and so on. And hundreds are actually heavenly heroes already because Russia kills. And our task is to defeat it. So we do have 12 medals, 3 golden, in fencing, in long jumps, and in boxing. And I'm very proud of all the Ukrainian people that speak for our country, that fight for our country. And I'm also very grateful to have our community. I'm very grateful that you are my friends, and whenever I'm traveling on business, whenever I'm sad or I'm happy, you are with me. And if you want to be more with me, join me on Instagram, X, Threads, and Discord. All the links are in the description of this video. Also subscribe to other channels that speak about Ukraine. That's super important. Check my interview for Kyiv Post with Jason Stanley. That was huge. And also we have a beautiful merch shop with a new collection that you might like. The link is in the description of the video too. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, and helping me film and write more. But most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!